Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. And when I say welcome, I really mean it. From the bottom of my heart, I love knowing that there are a lot of downloads. There are a lot of listeners, and they want to hear different perspectives. That's what I'm hoping. It may be something they agree with. It may be something we say that they disagree with. But I'll give you my opinion. And you can count on that every episode. And it'll be an opinion, hopefully, that is grounded in the fundamental moral fabric of this nation, the values upon which it was founded, the same values, by the way, in many respects, to those on which the Jewish state of Israel was founded upon. Common values the United States and the state of Israel have. And if nothing else, that is reason enough to be an unwavering, unequivocal, no space between supporter of the U.S.-Israel relationship. And we talk about that quite often on the show with our guests and beyond. I'll give you my opinion. Today, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the dying concept, the dying theory behind of unconditional surrender. What happened to unconditional surrender? Just doesn't happen much anymore. You kind of fight to a draw, and since Vietnam, you even fight to a loss. In mostly repeated ways. We're going to talk about unconditional surrender and how it is applied to the Islamo-Nazi regime in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Also going to talk about the proxies of Iran and how we have not fought those to unconditional surrender either. And really, it's something that some of the great statesmen in history understood, but do we understand it still today? That is the question. Which statesmen are we thinking of? Am I referring to? Let that be realized. Of course, you've heard that quote and that little snippet, that segment of Winston Churchill talking about the import of victory at the time of repeated daily bombardments of his homeland, Great Britain. And it looked as though all was lost. But it's speeches like that that turn things around. And it's understanding that there is good and evil in the world, and no matter how much we want to wish away evil, it doesn't work that way. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. And when you look at your neighbor and you say, wait a minute, who are you to say what is good and what is evil? It's all relative. Nothing is good or evil in and of itself. It's all gray. It's mushing the food around the plate, so you can't tell what it is anymore. And so you have no right to destroy evil, really. The Nazi regime should still exist. And of course, it's easy to turn to the Nazis as the example because most everybody agrees. But things that we used to agree on are becoming less, we are becoming less able to agree on, such as you don't walk around and use the N-word. Some people do. They still do. You don't make statements about burning Jews or having them go back to Europe in the gas chamber, to the gas chambers, because that's sort of anti-Semitic rhetoric nobody uses. It's certainly not allowed on college campuses, really. Well, that has shifted. Things that were not allowed, not just in polite company, but in any company, just a few years ago, now are acceptable political trains of thought. Wearing the keffiyeh on campus, covering your face, burning an Israeli and an American flag has now become somewhat commonplace. Attacking Jews, killing Jews in our nation's capital, killing Israelis because they're Israeli. Is that acceptable now? Is it a mode of thought? Obviously, murder is not acceptable. We haven't reached that level. Although some would say even that has become a question mark as to what is self-defense, what isn't, what is murder. Always are debates on the subject. But generally, we can agree on such things. But boy, it has changed. And in some respects, it has changed because the Democratic Party has decided it's okay to wrap the banner of their party around openly, blatantly anti-Semitic candidates running for office under their label. And it's not just that they are running for office under their label. They are nominated, they are endorsed, and the leaders of the Democratic Party come out in full voice, full-throated support of these anti-Semitic candidates. And it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And there are several of them in the Democratic caucus. There are a couple of them in the Republican caucus coming at it from a different angle. But, you know, so long as the leading parties in this country have these views, it normalizes the thinking. It normalizes anti-Semitism. Things that would never be taught are now, you know, a part of the lexicon. Both in schools, you just have to go to Wikipedia and look at what's in there, the anti-Semitic tropes and the revisionist history. So the reality is that we don't accept some of the basic fundamental values, and we're turning it back now with Donald Trump from the revolution of accepting anti-Semitism, accepting racism, accepting hatred of blacks, hatred of minorities. You know, if the issues on campus were about Black lives, there would be an entirely different hue and cry. And now, a word from our sponsors. A record of success second to none. Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm, the numbers tell the story. The last 5 cases our lawyers have brought to trial have resulted in million and multi-million-dollar verdicts for our plaintiff clients and 0 defense verdicts for our defense clients. Put simply, we try cases and we win cases. Hi, I'm Andrew Parker. At Parker Daniels Keyboard, we take our work personally and we go the extra mile. That is why some of the biggest law firms, locally and nationally, send cases to us to handle when they can't. If you have a challenging and critically important business or personal legal dispute that must be favorably resolved, whether regarding a contract matter, a business divorce, a real estate dispute, an employment dispute, a civil rights or defamation matter, plain talk, if it's a big deal, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com. If you're considering options for a 1031 exchange, True North recommends checking out Walton Global. They're a land investment company with over 46 years of experience and a very impressive track record. Their clients are some of America's largest home builders, and True North recommends them highly. You can visit True North's website to get more information at investtruenorth.com or call at 619-455-0275. That's 619-455-0275. So if you take a look at the Islamo-Nazi regime in Iran, don't you have to say, all right, we dropped this big sucker of a bomb on them, didn't we? I mean, whew, not just one, but numerous. But the mullahs who took over in a coup, as you all know, in 1979, they are not a fairly openly elected regime in the Islamic Republic. No. And what have we done since 1979 with them? Nothing. Next to nothing. So they've been weakened. The Israelis did. Now the United States has. But there's no cry for unconditional surrender. Like, how dare we attack another country, a country, a member country of the United Nations? Of course we can't call for surrender, even though they, through a coup, hold the position that they hold in Iran. No other reason. By the sword. That's all. So why can't we call for regime change? Now, I'm asking the question. It's not rhetorical. Well, because regime change hasn't worked in the past. Of course not. But maybe Iran and its particular situation is different. Have we analyzed it on its merits? And maybe if it's not regime change from the outside, what about regime change from the inside? Certainly, we don't want to help the current regime, but it appears that's what the Trump administration is about to do. Let them out of the box that they are now in. And I wonder if it's a good idea. Out of haste and the unwavering policy to end all wars, even if it means much bigger wars later. And of course, we learned that in World War II. No, we can't get involved. No, we can't do anything to stop the rise of Nazism in Germany. Oh, until it's too late and millions, tens of millions died. So that, that's not the case with Iran. But the question becomes, if your enemy does something evil enough to trigger a war, they must be bad enough to take them out or to get an unconditional surrender. Isn't that the case? Maybe not always, but most of the time. But that's not how we fight wars any longer. And the Israelis are trying to do that. An unconditional surrender must be the goal as it relates to Gaza and Hamas. They must never return. Why? Because of the evil that they perpetrated on October 7th. It wasn't enough evil up to that point, launching thousands of rockets into Israel over an extended period of time. I mean, that should be bad enough. But it hasn't been, and it's been allowed to continue. Israel should not have to live with that threat day in and day out. And they have had to for years, both from the north, in Lebanon and Hezbollah, Syria in the north, and also Gaza, Hamas in the south, and somewhat on the West Bank, even with the Palestinian Authority. If there was a war that could end wars for decades to come, if that war is ended with an unconditional surrender, that's the path we should be taking. If we truly believe that we can obtain that objective, peace for decades, without an unconditional surrender and with the same evildoers in power, then we should do that. But the problem is, who really believes that? The Iranians, the evildoers in power, the mullahs, not the Iranians, the mullahs, who are the regime in control in Iran currently, are crippled. But they will rebuild. And that's the opportunity they're looking for. Their theology, their zealous Islamo-Nazi tactics, the fact that they are the foundation of the terrorist conduct in the region means that maybe they need to go if we really expect to have peace for decades to come, which, quite frankly, we could have. Listen, the peace overtures are incredible right now. And as I have said on this show a number of times, I believe we are closer to peace. And I'm talking about a real peace, a holding peace, one like Israel has with Egypt. And even more so, one which results in broad trade and tourism. Well, you just go around the horn. That deal could happen with Lebanon, as Hezbollah has been so weakened, but it needs to be destroyed. And without Iran, it can be destroyed. And then a peace deal with Lebanon would be almost assured. A peace deal with Syria currently being talked about. A peace deal with the Saudis, with the other Arab countries in the Gulf. It will leave Iran standing alone. And frankly, even with the Palestinians, there now is a call from the leading Palestinian in Hebron for there to be a peace deal between the Palestinian Authority with Hebron as its capital, in which the Palestinians recognize Israel as a state, a UN state, and recognize the existence of Israel as a Jewish state. That's a big deal. Now, are the Palestinians ready for peace? Are they ready to live side by side in peace? That's a big question mark. But the point is that we have a number of potential peace deals, but do we need to have an unconditional surrender from the evildoers who do not want peace and won't allow it? This is an opportunity. It is a window of opportunity that we have not had in the Middle East in our lifetimes. And we should take advantage of it. We should do so by making sure that all options are on the table, including military options, and they are not removed simply because the nuclear program of Iran has been set back. That's helpful, no question. But now we need to finish the job. This is Andrew Parker. You're listening to The Andrew Parker Show. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode regarding unconditional surrender. And until next time, be kind to your neighbor. For more smart, plain talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard and True North Private Investments.
Did your employer make you sign a promissory note when joining the company, and now you want to leave, but you're afraid your firm will pursue you personally for that debt? This is Jesse Keyboard from the law firm Parker Daniels Keyboard. I recently represented a client who had signed such a note, and I was able to get them out of their $500,000 debt to their company, which allowed them the freedom to exit a bad employment situation and enter a much better one. Meeting our clients' objectives is our focus at Parker Daniels Keyboard, and in this regard, we win. Our experienced trial team of lawyers at Parker Daniels Keyboard have secured major victories in state and federal courts across the country and through arbitration. We have the legal expertise in all types of business disputes, labor and employment matters, real estate matters, shareholder disputes, financial transactions, security issues, and appeals. For wise counsel, winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, a premier litigation law firm that provides efficient, aggressive, and innovative solutions to complex legal problems. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com.
Looking for a smarter way to invest in real estate? Turn to True North Investments, your trusted partner in growth and security. True North has teamed up with Vita Development, a premier real estate company with over 20 years of success building vibrant multifamily communities right in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. Right now, Vita is developing 3 exciting new multifamily complexes in one of the fastest growing markets in the country. Their track record, proven. Their results consistent. Your opportunity right now. True North is proud to offer investment options designed to lower your risk while helping you grow your portfolio with confidence. Call True North Investments today at 612-968-3442 or visit investtruenorth.com. That's investtruenorth.com.